Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Leadership Thread with Dr. Peggy Polonis.
I'm Dr. Peggy Polonis. Join me on each episode where I unravel the story that shaped leaders, tracing the thread that led them where they are today. Because leadership isn't born in adulthood. And thank you once again for joining us on the Leadership Thread, education, ethics, and sustainability.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Well, everybody is talking about Artemis 2. And boy, the launch was amazing. The whole country, the whole world was watching, I think, this moment. And President Trump, who addressed the nation tonight, focused on Operation Epic Fury in Iran, started his address to the nation saying, "I salute the team at NASA."
My fellow Americans, good evening. Let me begin by congratulating the team at NASA and our brave astronauts on the successful launch of Artemis 2. It was quite something. It will be traveling further than any manned rocket has ever flown and will very substantially pass the moon, go around it, and come back home from a distance that has never been done before. It's amazing. They are on the way, and God bless them. These are brave people. We want to God bless those four unbelievable astronauts.
Unbelievable, historic mission. And who better to talk about it all than our own Dr. Sky, Steve Cates. You can listen to him every Friday and Saturday night, midnight to 2 a.m. Eastern Time on 77 WABC Radio. And Dr. Sky, we're so happy to have you here on the show. First of all, you and I and John Katz, we were talking earlier, and it was before liftoff. So I had tears in my eyes. I'm such a sap for space. But what was going on through your mind when you saw it finally took off? It took off, a few minutes late, right?
Yes, it did. And it was an exciting experience. It's amazing how the American space program, Rita, is moving forward after many delays and many people that doubted whether we could actually do this. And the goal, of course, later in time, maybe by the end of the decade, would be, of course, to put humans back on the surface of the moon. But, Rita, that feeling is just great. It's euphoric because we have, as the president said very eloquently, 4 brave people that are going onto the moon. And, Rita, in the real dynamic of that spacecraft, imagine this. They're within an area of 330 cubic feet. They call it an open concept design, the architecture. So, obviously, they have a little bit more room than the Apollo astronauts did. And they have, by the way, in a serious mode, the best of food that you could possibly have and drink. Of course, no alcohol. But they're actually set for some amazing things and making history, as the president said, and many people know, going farther out than any human has ever done and traveling on the return back to the Earth faster, upwards of 25,000 miles. Amazing, and lots of science in between.
Yeah, so amazing. Now, Dr. Sky, tell us, you brought up food, and how long is the trip, and what do they eat up there?
Well, they have a 10-day mission, as we've talked about many times with many folks on this, and many people may say, well, that's not really a long time in space. But what they've done is they improved the dehydration process of food so they can actually heat them things up. They have a choice of some burritos and some other kind of brisket of beef, and they have all kinds of drinks from coffee to lemonade. And what's really interesting, Rita, is that they have the opportunity, and they really have to do this, is to actually go into doing some exercise. They have something called a flywheel there. So obviously, if you're in those couches for too long, the body obviously starts to get a little bit tight. So they have the ability to exercise. And on a serious note, but many people may laugh, what about the restroom facilities? They actually have a specialized
Yeah, what do you do? And also when it's 3 guys and 1 gal, right?
Well, they have a privacy screen, but this beats what the astronauts, of course, on Apollo had to do, and that's for another story. But we realize that that's a whole different.
Now, let me just ask you: was that space debris?
Yes, it was, Rita. And lots of space debris. And on the moon, I mean, transgressing to the surface of the moon, the astronauts, the 2 people that went to the surface of the moon all the time, they had to leave a lot of waste, including human waste, in bags. So there is some environmental stuff laying on the moon. And they left a few expensive cameras, and the story goes on. But actually, for humans, Rita, the NASA mission, we're talking about this, and kind of a very positive way. Probably now with Artemis 4, and that probably won't take place until maybe, if we're lucky and get it done right, which I'm sure we will, maybe even as late as 2028 or 2029. That's really positive.
And that's when you see back on the moon. That's what you're saying is sort of the timetable for that?
Yes, and these astronauts get to see the far side of the moon. So the definition is very interesting. People call it, I love Pink Floyd too, it's not the dark side, but in astronomical and aerospace, it's the far side. And Rita, on a beautiful and romantic way, as we wish everybody the best for a beautiful, safe, and happy Passover and Easter, right now, if the clouds are going to part in various places, this happens to be the full pink moon, and it lies in the zodiac sign of Virgo, and it's about 244,000 miles away, making it a spectacular sight. So the astronauts right now, and if people go to the NASA.gov website, which, by the way, is so overloaded it pops in and out, the latest and the last that I checked it, they were some 24,000 miles away from the Earth, which means that their speed is reduced. They're moving at about 6,200 miles per hour. And then they have the next big event, probably tomorrow. I'm not sure the exact time. They call it the important TLI, the Translunar Injection Burn, on the rocket to force them away from the Earth and to move them onto the moon. That's a rocket blast of about a 30-minute time period. But this spacecraft is really awesome. I mean, it's really high-tech. It even has solar panels, Rita, that are actually useful, of course, to maintain the systems on board.
Oh, wow. That's really amazing. Now, you know what I think about so much, Dr. Sky, and you have such a great depth of background, not just obviously space, you're the superstar in that, but you have so many different layers. I think about also how beautiful this event is. We're at a moment right now where the world is so divided, America is so divided, and there's something so unifying and positive and beautiful about space. It's apolitical.
Yes, you're right.
Were you thinking about that today? I mean, there's just something so grand and incredible about this moment. The whole world stood still today, and I was watching all the networks breaking and covering it. And then when it went off successfully, just the tears in everybody's eyes. It was just this moment of how proud to be an American, how proud of this incredible accomplishment.
Exactly. And it's amazing. Look at the little children that were there today, and many people, not just there in schools, they were doing this, even they stayed a little later than their normal time of closure. But it's amazing, Rita. It's a jolt of peace and happiness, a jolt of positivity. And for people who doubt, the purpose of going to the moon, well, we don't have the time to go into the long part of it, but it's in our genes. It's in our exploration. It's there for us to explore. Even Stephen Hawking had said it before he passed, that inevitably we need to get off planet Earth. And we need to explore, and that's what we've done from the days of the Greeks and Romans, and civilizations before that. If we stood still, things would be pretty boring, I think. Don't you think?
I absolutely agree. Now, if they offered you a seat, I know you had a boarding pass there that you were sharing with John. John forwarded it to me. I'm going to pretend like I'm going to cross your names out and put my name on it just so I feel good. But in all seriousness, if you had a chance, would you go? I would go.
I would go, but here's the reality for this. You have to be in the tip-top shape. And again, not to say that I'm not in shape, but the reality is just from the human side, yes, I would want to go on this. And I can only imagine, Rita, what the cost of a seat would be, because a lot of times in the past when people went up and still do go to the International Space Station, some are saying that the seat cost, if you were to pay for it out of your pocket, $30 to $40 million and maybe more. And some individuals, wealthy individuals, have done that long before the space station, like on Mir. But really, I would love to do it, Rita. It's so amazing. Imagine seeing the beautiful vista of the moon, a place that eventually, when we land there, there's good reason for anybody who doubts why we would go there and so-called waste the money. There's a helium isotope called helium-3 that even Harrison Schmitt, the only geologist to the moon, ever talked about. And if we could harness that, it could help us in developing what we call fusion power here on the Earth. And why is it there? Because the soil on the moon just sits there for billions of years, and it absorbs what's necessary to make helium-3 a viable isotope. But it would just be beautiful from the human side. So when people go out tonight or can go out, or even if they're looking right now, no matter where they're listening to this powerful station, just know that beautiful pink moon, it's designated Easter, by the way, really quick, is always the Sunday after the full moon that occurs after the beginning of spring or the vernal equinox. So on the calendar, here's your full moon. Sunday, of course, Easter. And again, as we wish everybody peace and happiness during the Passover and Easter holidays. And the moon, when you look at it, It's now 244,000 miles away, Rita. And if you walk there, I said this earlier with you and John, it would take you about 5 years. Now, that would require a lot of shoes and a lot of oxygen. But simply an airline journey, if you could do 24 hours a day, 18 days to get to the moon, and if you drove your car, whatever violations you'd want in your own speed limit world, whatever, averaging about 135 days just to go one way. And with the price of gas, at least right now, Rita, that would be a little out of my price budget.
Yeah. By the way, you underestimate me. I could get there in 134 days, Dr. Sky.
Wow. You must have a fast vehicle.
I got a lead foot. All right. All right.
I love it.
Dr. Sky, thank you so much. We love you, and thank you for sharing just this incredible moment. And I want to make sure everybody tunes into your awesome show. It is every Friday and Saturday night, midnight to 2 a.m. on 77 WABC. You can get on WABC radio around the country, and it is awesome. We all learn so much from you. It's great to talk to you, my friend.
Likewise, and go to nasa.gov. If you can get through there, the live tracker, it will come back, but it's so popular. And thank you, Rita. Have a good morning.
Thank you very much. You too, very much.
Let me tell you about ProHealthConnect.com. It's transforming healthcare payments, providing retailers a seamless process for over-the-counter and healthy benefit programs. By connecting retailers, health plans, and payment processors, ProHealth Connect creates one powerful, unified network. They empower independent grocers and pharmacies to accept health benefit cards without changing how they do business. With over 10,000 locations nationwide, helping more than 1.3 million people access the care and nutrition they need. Go to ProHealthConnect.com.